In an age where success is measured by numbers on screens and words of praise from others, slowing down or stumbling can sometimes feel like a sin. We find ourselves swept into a race with no finish line, only to wake up one day exhausted, empty, and filled with self-doubt. We label ourselves as failures simply because we cannot shine as brightly as those around us. But did you know that the tightest knots are often untied in the simplest of places? For a moment, set aside the worries that have been suffocating your mind. Come with me as we journey away from the noise and return to a quiet hermitage hidden deep within an ancient forest. There, a fateful encounter between a young man at the depths of despair and a wise spiritual master will reveal an answer to a question many of us carry. How do you heal a soul that feels broken? In a peaceful hermitage, surrounded by lush greenery and the sounds of the wilderness, lived a wise master, whom the villagers respectfully called Guruji. People did not seek him out for miracles. They came to him in search of answers to the knots tangled within their hearts. In a village at the foot of a hill lived a young man known for his diligence. He always gave his best in everything he did. Yet after suffering one failure after another, his confidence slowly began to disappear. Whenever he saw others succeed, he felt smaller. Whenever he made a mistake, he blamed himself even more. Gradually, he became trapped in a cycle of insecurity and disappointment. He began to believe that success simply was not meant for him. One day, unable to endure those heavy thoughts any longer, he climbed the hill to seek the wise master. Falling to his knees before Guruji, he cried out with a trembling voice, "Guruji, please save me. My life feels meaningless. I have tried so hard, yet all I seem to receive in return is failure. Has fate already decided that I am destined to remain an ordinary man?" Guruji listened in silence. His eyes were gentle yet profound, seeing straight into the young man's suffering. He understood that a soul wounded by insecurity did not need a lecture. It needed an experience. With a soft smile, the master picked up a dusty, empty clay jar from the corner of the courtyard and handed it to the young man. "I will help you find your answer," he said, "but first, help me with something. Take this empty jar to the stream behind the mountain and bring me back a jar full of fresh water." The young man was puzzled. His heart was in turmoil, and he could not understand why the master would ask him to perform such a trivial task. Yet seeing the determination in Guruji's eyes, he quietly took the jar and left. Some time later he returned, drenched in sweat, carrying a jar filled with cool, clear water. Guruji invited him to sit beside a stone slab. Pointing to the jar, he asked, "Tell me, if this jar had remained empty, could it have quenched the thirst of a traveler passing by?" The young man answered without hesitation, "No, Guruji, of course not. An empty jar has no value. If it contains nothing useful, how could it possibly help anyone?" Guruji looked directly into his eyes and spoke in a warm yet powerful voice. "Exactly. And your life is much like this clay jar. When you give up on yourself, label yourself as worthless, and focus only on your shortcomings, you turn yourself into an empty vessel. A jar without water cannot give anything to others. This world recognizes and respects those who carry value within themselves." The young man froze. The master's words struck him like a bolt of lightning. Guruji continued, his voice flowing like water over stone. "To fill this jar, you had to walk to the stream. You had to bend down and use your strength to draw water. The jar did not fill itself. Your life is no different. If you want your life to hold value, you must fill it yourself. Fill your soul with the fresh water of courage, perseverance, positive thinking, and knowledge. When you cultivate ability and character, you naturally become priceless. At that point, you will be too busy contributing and growing to waste your energy comparing yourself to others." He gently patted the young man's shoulder and concluded, "Failure is not the end of the road. It is merely fate shaking its head and saying, 'Your jar isn't full enough yet. Go and gather more water.' To draw water, one must bend down. Success is the same. It requires hard work and the humility to keep learning. A spark suddenly appeared in the tired eyes of the young man. At last, he understood a painful truth. The suffering he had endured all those years did not come from failure itself. It came from the emptiness he had created within his own soul. He bowed deeply in gratitude to Guruji. A new sense of energy rose within him. From that day forward, instead of sitting still and lamenting what he lacked, he would stand up, develop his skills, accumulate knowledge, and gradually fill the jar of his life. The story of the empty jar has come to an end, but the story of your own life's jar is still being written. The line between an ordinary person and a person of value may simply be whether you are willing to bend down, learn, and continue filling yourself with wisdom and growth. If you could choose one thing to fill your soul with today, something that could change your reality, what would it be? Perseverance? Courage? Or an entirely new piece of knowledge? Leave your answer below and let's inspire one another.